The Lanterns of Red Willow Lake. On the far edge of Hunan province, beyond fields of rice and winding dirt paths, there lay a lake that was still as glass, ringed by tall red willows whose leaves whispered in the slightest breeze. The villagers of Qingyuan believed the lake was home to restless spirits, and for as long as anyone could remember, they had held the Lantern Festival each year to honor them. At dusk, hundreds of glowing orbs would drift out over the water, carrying prayers for the living and the dead. This year, Mei Lin, a young woman with ink-black hair and quiet eyes, stood among the crowd by the shore, clutching a small paper lantern to her chest. She had lost her older brother in a sudden storm 2 summers ago, his boat capsizing on his way home from market. The lake had given back his body, but not her grief. Tonight, she planned to send a lantern for him, though she had little faith in ghosts or blessings. As night settled, the villagers lit their lanterns, their warm glow reflecting in ripples that spread across the dark water. Mei Lin hesitated, then knelt to set hers afloat. She whispered her brother's name and gave the lantern a gentle push. It bobbed slowly away. She turned to leave, then froze. Out on the lake, beyond the cluster of drifting lights, a single white lantern glided toward shore. Its glow was pale, almost silver, and unlike any she had seen before. There was no boat, no pole guiding it, only the strange light, cutting a silent path across the water. The crowd murmured, pointing. Old Granny Shu, who claimed to know the lake's moods better than anyone, made the sign to ward off evil. The lantern reached the shallows and stopped. And then, impossibly, a figure began to take shape beside it. She was a woman, dressed in flowing white robes that stirred without wind. Her face was half hidden beneath a sheer veil. But Mei Lin felt her gaze as clearly as if the stranger's hand had touched her cheek. A cold shiver swept through the gathered villagers. Some fled toward the safety of the temple steps, but Mei Lin's feet remained rooted. She could not look away. The woman lifted a pale hand and beckoned. Against all reason, Mei Lin stepped into the shallows. The water was icy, numbing her ankles. She waded deeper until the soft mud gripped her feet, stopping her just short of the spectral figure. The woman's voice, when it came, was like the rustle of willow leaves. "You seek someone lost." Mei Lin's throat tightened. "My brother?" The woman's veiled head tilted slightly, as though listening to a far-off sound. Then she raised the silver lantern and let it drift toward Mei Lin. Inside the fragile frame, instead of a candle's steady flame, there flickered a swirl of images, waves crashing, a boat breaking apart, and then her brother, standing on a moonlit shore, smiling sadly. Tears blurred Mei Lin's vision. She reached for the lantern, but the woman's hand caught hers, cool as water. The living must learn to let the dead rest. But know this: his spirit watches still. A faint breeze lifted the veil for just a moment, revealing eyes as deep and calm as the lake itself. Then, as suddenly as she had appeared, the woman stepped backward, her form fading into mist. The silver lantern bobbed once, twice, and sank beneath the water without a ripple. Mei Lin stood there long after the other villagers had gone, the night quiet save for the gentle lapping at the shore. At last, she whispered a goodbye, not only to her brother, but to the ache that had clung to her heart for 2 years. When she returned to the village path, she glanced over her shoulder. Far out among the scattered lanterns, a faint silver glow hovered for an instant before winking out. She walked home under the willow shadows, feeling, for the first time, that the weight on her chest had lessened. The festival ended, but from that year on, people spoke of a mysterious white-robed woman who sometimes appeared when grief was deepest. Some called her a ghost, others a guardian spirit. Mei Lin never told anyone exactly what she had seen, but every lantern festival thereafter, she left a place for one more light to drift on the lake, pale, silver, and unlike any other.